Hi everybody, this is Lisa, and it's time for another reading class. So in this hour, we're going to be reading another article, and I put the link up here already in the Verbling chat. So if you would like to, you can click on the link, and it will open up a Google document for you, and you can start checking it out. If you have a reservation for this class, you can get it now by clicking on the blue Get Reservation button. If you don't have a reservation and you want to have one, and you are a premium member, then go ahead and get your reservation. Otherwise, you can wait until the green Join Class button appears, and then you can click on the green Join Class button, and then you will come into here, which is the Google Hangout. When that window opens, then you can just close your Verbling window and you will be in the class, and that way you can read out loud. Usually on the article I read, so you get to listen to me and how I pronounce the words, and then you get a chance to read as well. So you get to read out loud and also ask questions and learn some new vocabulary. In the last two articles that we were reading, there were quite a few phrasal verbs and some expressions that may have been new for some students, and also some good vocabulary. It's vocabulary that you may use if you're speaking at a little bit higher level about technology. That was from the last class. And also it's great vocabulary if you are studying for tests, like Pedro is studying for the TOEFL test or any of the other English proficiency exams. A lot of times the best thing you can do for those is to read a lot, because you get a wider vocabulary. Conversational English doesn't use such high-level vocabulary words usually. So reading widely, lots of different articles and books and things will help you expand your vocabulary. So hi there, welcome. Hi there, Japri? Hi there, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. It's a
I'm
little...
fine, and how are you doing?
Good. That's
great. I can hear.
Okay, awesome. So we're just going to wait for some people to come in. Did you click on the link already? It's in the Verbling chat. I'll put it there again.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I already.
Okay, good. Yes, I see that there are some people that are opening up the that I just put something in. That's weird. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong thing. I put into a vocabulary word that was from the last one. There you go. That's the right link right there. You click on that one, and that takes you to the article that we're going to be reading. It's called Generation Jobless. That's the name of the article, and it's going to be talking about what's going on around the world with young people who are trying to find jobs and get work. So if you are watching out there and you would like to practice your English reading skills and also learn about what's happening around the world with jobs for younger people, then this would be a good class for you. So just click on the green Join Class button. It should be available by now, and you can come into the Google Hangout. And we'll just wait. Hi there, Amparo, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's great. Amparo, was the green Join Class button available, or did you get a reservation?
No, I didn't have a reservation. I should just join.
Okay, Good. I was just wondering because I see that people are looking at the document, but they're not joining yet. So I don't want to wait too much time because we can read ourselves if we get started. Okay. So if you want to join, now's a good time because we're going to start reading. So click on the join class button, and then you will come into the Google Hangout. And then we're going to start reading. I'm going to put the article in the screen share. So, Amparo, did you find the link? You're already there?
Yeah.
Amparo? Okay,
Yeah.
good. You're there?
Yeah.
And Jeffrey, you're there already too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, so we're going to read. We're only 2 people in this class right now, so you guys are going to get to read a lot. So that's good.
A private class.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? All right.
Sure.
All right. So it's called Generation Jobless. The number of young people out of work globally is nearly as big as the population of the United States. Okay, so that's basically what the article is about. And so here I'm going to read the first paragraph, and then you guys will just take turns. And if anybody else joins us, then they can start reading as well. Young people ought not to be idle. It is very bad for them, said Margaret Thatcher in 1984. She was right. There are few worse things that society can do to its young than to leave them in limbo. Okay, Amparo, why don't you go first?
Okay. Young people ought not to be idle. It is very bad for them, said Margaret Thatcher in 1984. She was right. There are few worse things that society can do its young than to leave them in limbo.
In limbo, yeah. When you leave somebody in limbo, or if you feel like you are in, it means you don't know what's happening. You're not sure if you're going to do this or do that. Those who start their careers on the dole are more likely to have. Jeffrey, do you have your Verbling window open?
Yes.
Yeah, close the Verbling window because it's too noisy. It's recording.
Yeah. I have closed the Verbling.
You closed it? Okay. All right. Amparo, do you have your Verbling window open? Amparo?
No, I mute. No,
Okay.
I was mute.
Okay, good. All right. So those who start their careers on the dole are more likely to have lower wages and more spells of joblessness later in life because they lose out on the chance to acquire skills and self-confidence in their formative years. Okay, Jeffrey?
Those who start their careers on the dole are more likely to have lower wages and more spells of joblessness later in life because they lose out on the chance to acquire skills and self-confidence in their formative years.
So this article is from The Economist, which comes from the United Kingdom, England. And so on the dole, so when you're on the dole, that means the government is paying you. So in the United States, we call that welfare. But in the United Kingdom, they say on the dole. So if young people start off on welfare or on the dole, then they're saying that later on they're probably going to have lower wages, so make less money, and have spells. Is a British word. It means like period of joblessness. So later on in their life, they might not have jobs because they lost out on the chance. So that's an expression. So that means that they didn't have the chance to acquire, get some skills, and build their self-confidence. So believe in themselves that they can do things in their what we call formative years, in the years that they were growing up and learning how to do stuff. Yet more young people are idle than ever. That means they're not working. That's what she's saying. They're not working. OCD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, figures suggest that 26 million 15 to 24-year-olds in developed countries are not in employment, education, or training. The number of young people without a job has risen by 30% since 2007. The International Labor Organization reports that 75 million young people globally are looking for a job. Okay, Amparo?
Okay. Yet more young people are idle than ever. OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, figures suggest that 26 million 15 to 24 years old in developed countries are not in employment, education, or training. The number of young people without a job has risen by 30% since 2007. The International Labor Organization reports that 75 million young people globally are looking for a job.
Yeah. So here in this magazine, The Economist, which comes from England, they use 75M to mean million. We don't do that in the United States. We just write out 75 million. So sometimes I've written it out and sometimes I left it with just the M, but that's what it means. So basically, lots of young people are without a job. They don't have a job and it's getting worse. So they're saying that some people are reporting that up to 75 million young people globally, so that means all around the world, are looking for a job. World Bank surveys suggest, yes, Amparo?
In American English Organization, is with S or with Z?
Z in the United States, yeah.
With Z.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. World Bank surveys suggest that 262 million young people in emerging markets are economically inactive. Depending on how you measure them, the number of young people without a job is nearly as large as the population of America, 311 million. Okay, Jeffrey. And hi there, Johnny. You'll read next after Jeffrey. Go ahead.
World Bank surveys suggest that 262 million young people in emerging markets are economically inactive. Depending on how you measure them, the number of young people without a job is nearly as large as the population of America, 311 million.
Yeah. So emerging. Whoops, somebody has the Verbling window open. Emerging markets, those are, they're talking about markets, economies in countries that are just coming up and starting to create more products maybe and having a stronger economy. So those are the emerging markets. So basically a lot of people around the world are looking for jobs. Two factors play a big part. First, the long slowdown in the West has reduced demand for labor, and it is easier to put off hiring young people than it is to fire older workers. Second, in emerging economies, population growth is fastest in countries with dysfunctional labor markets, such as India and Egypt. Okay, Johnny.
Yes, I'm sorry, teacher. I can now. What do you talk about?
Yeah. So, do you see my screen, or did you open up the article? We have an article that we're reading, and it's about people around the world that are looking for jobs and that type of thing. And if you go up in the Verbling chat there, or just right now, I sent you the link. You can click on the link, and then you can open it. And if you want to read, you read the part that I have highlighted here. It says two factors play a big part. Do you want to read that?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, though. Two factors play a big part. First, the long slowdown in the West has reduced the demand for labor, and it's easier to put off hiring young people than easy to find other. Work seconds in emerging economies population growth and fastest in countries with dysfunctional labor markets, such as Egypt and Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, they're saying that there's been a long slowdown. So the economies in the West, which means like the United States and Western Europe and stuff, they have had a reduction, so less demand for labor. And here's another British word that in the United States we out the U and we say labor. And then another thing is that in a lot of these emerging economies, like in India and Egypt, they have problems with their labor market. Now, I don't know exactly what they mean, but calling it dysfunctional. So maybe there's a problem with getting enough people who are qualified for certain types of jobs or something like that. The result is an arc of unemployment from southern Europe through North Africa and the Middle East to South Asia, where the rich world's recession meets the poor world's youthquake. The anger of the young jobless has already burst onto the streets in the Middle East. Amparo.
The result is an arc of unemployment from Southern Europe through North America and the Middle East to South Asia, where the rich world's recession meets the poor world's youthquake. The anger of the young jobless has already burst onto the streets in the Middle East. What is youthquake?
Yeah, that's a word they made up. Usually, you know, the buildings, the earth shakes and maybe a building falls or something. But so their idea here is that it's the youthquake, and that means that these people, these young people in different countries around the world who cannot find jobs, they're getting mad, they're getting angry, and so they're making moves or making movement, and they're disrupting. So they've already burst onto the streets. This means they've probably been the streets and you're protesting something. Violent crime generally in decline in the rich world is rising in Spain, Italy, and Portugal, countries with startlingly high youth unemployment. Will growth give them a job? The most obvious way to tackle this problem is to reignite growth. Okay. That is easier said than done in a world plagued by debt and is a partial answer. Okay. All right, let's see. Diego, you just joined us. Do you want to read? Are you ready? You might have your microphone muted, so you can check that. Or we can let Jeffrey go. Go ahead, Jeffrey, and we'll see if Diego gets his microphone working. Jeffrey, you can start at violent crime.
Violent crime, generally in decline in the rich world, is rising in Spain, Italy, and Portugal, countries with likely high youth unemployment. Will growth give them a job? The most obvious way to tackle this problem is to reignite growth. That is easier said than done in a world plagued by debt, and is anyway only a partial answer.
Yes. So what they're explaining is that because in countries like Spain, Italy, and Portugal, the unemployment for people is very high. It's surprisingly high. Like, people can't believe how high it is. They're having more crime. But will growth? So growth is when, like, companies make things and the economy grows. Okay, hold on, Jeffrey. I'm gonna have to mute you because I hear mic echo. All right. So the most obvious means like what you would think of. It's kind of like a no-brainer. They think that to tackle this problem, to deal with or to fix this problem, we should have more growth, reignite. We should start up more economic growth. But this is a common phrase. That is easier said than done. So it's easy, but it's not so easy to start growth in an economy if everybody's in debt. So it is plagued by, that's a phrase or a phrasal verb, plagued by. That means you have a problem, and your problem is debt. You owe money, so how are you going to make more jobs for people by creating new businesses if you don't have any money to invest? And anyways, that's only a partial answer. It's not the whole answer. It's just one part of the problem. The countries where the problem is worst, such as Spain and Egypt, suffered from high youth unemployment even when their economies were growing. Throughout the recession, companies have continued to complain that they cannot find young people with the right skills. This underlines the importance of two other solutions: reforming labor markets and improving education. Okay. Okay, Johnny?
Yep. Well, I start off the countries.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. The countries where the problem is worse, such as Spain and Egypt, suffer from high youth unemployment even when their economies were growing.
Growing.
Throughout the recessions, companies have continued to complain that they cannot find young people with the right skills. This underlines the importance of two other solutions: reforming labor markets and improving education.
Yeah. So basically, even when they were growing, some of these countries still had problems with young people not having enough jobs. And this word here, you say throughout. So throughout means during the recession. So during the whole time that we have been experiencing recession in different countries, companies have continued to complain. So they are saying that they cannot find young people that have the right skills. So for example, in the United States, we have a lot of people that come from other countries who are skilled in technology, and so some of even the young Americans don't have the skills to work in some highly skilled technological industries. So that even happens here in the United States. So basically they're saying we need to reform, so fix the labor markets, but also improve, make better the education so that people are actually having the skills that they need to get better, to get jobs. Okay? These are familiar prescriptions, ways to solve problems. Prescriptions are also for medications. These are familiar prescriptions, but ones that need to be delivered with both a new vigor and a new twist. Youth unemployment is often at its worst in countries with rigid labor markets. Cartelized industries, high taxes on hiring, strict rules about firing, high minimum wages, all these help condemn young people to the street corner. Okay. Diego, did you want to read?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
These are familiar prescriptions, but ones that need to be delivered with both a new vigor and new twist. Youth employment is often at its worst in countries with rigid labor markets. Cartelizing industries, high taxes Wow.
Yeah, you see it? Whoops.
Okay.
Cartelized industries. I was looking at cartelized.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Cartelized industries, high taxes on hiring, strict rules about firing, high minimum wage. All these help cons condemn young people to the street corner.
Yep.
South Africa.
Hold on. So basically, what they're saying, like in this article, is written by The Economist, and so they're saying that we need to start fixing these problems with new vigor. So that means with new strength and energy, and with a new twist. A twist is some kind of something fix the problem with the same old solutions. We have to something new. And he's telling us that the unemployment is often worse in countries with rigid. That means like strict, where it's these changes. Like you might want to lower taxes on hiring, and maybe not have such high minimum wages. That these are some things that this author who's writing the article is saying condemns young people to the street corner. Condemns means it makes them go there. It's like that's the only place they can go because they're not going to find a job, because it's too hard for people to start new businesses and succeed because there's so many rules and taxes and cartelized industries means when the industries form they are talking more about competition. South Africa has some of the highest unemployment south of the Sahara, in part because it has powerful trade unions and rigid rules about hiring and firing. Many countries in the arc of youth unemployment have high minimum wages and heavy taxes on labor. India has around 200 laws on work and pay. Okay, Amparo?
South Africa has some of the highest unemployment south of the Sahara, in part because it has powerful trade unions and rigid rules about hiring and firing. Many countries in the arc of youth unemployment have high minimum wages and heavy taxes on labor. India has around 200 laws on work and pay.
Mm-hmm. So this author is saying that one reason why there might be some unemployment is because there's lots of powerful unions that have demanded, higher wages and things like that. So on the one hand, that's good for workers, of course, but on the other hand, if it stops business people from hiring you because they're going to have to pay you too much money, then you're going to be unemployed. So high minimum wages make it difficult for more people to have jobs, even though the people who do have the jobs, they're making more money. And also, there's always taxes that business people have to consider. So deregulating labor markets is thus central to tackling youth unemployment, but it will not be enough on its own. Britain has a flexible labor market and high youth unemployment. In countries with better records, governments tend to take a more active role in finding jobs for those who are struggling. Guido, you want to read?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. There are Latin labor makers in this central to tackling youth employment,
Mm-hmm.
but it will not be enough on its own. Everything has a flexible labor market and high youth unemployment
Mm-hmm.
in countries with better records. Governments tend to take a more active role in finding jobs for those who are struggling. I don't know.
Struggling. Good. So
Struggling.
deregulating means when you take away some of the rules or the laws or the restrictions that make hiring and firing difficult for companies. And we hear to tackle youth. To tackle something means already trying to fix it. But Britain, this author is talking about the United Kingdom because this comes from The Economist magazine. But even though Britain has a flexible labor market, so that means it's not so doesn't have so many rules and so many regulations and taxes and stuff, there's still high unemployment for the young people. So basically what they're saying is the governments are going to have to start helping people find jobs, especially for those people who are struggling. So not just giving them money, but actually helping them find some real jobs. Germany, which has the second lowest level of youth unemployment in the rich world, pays a proportion of the wages of the long-term unemployed for the first 2 years. The Nordic countries provide young people with personalized plans to get them into employment or training. But these policies are too expensive to reproduce in Southern Europe with their millions of unemployed, let alone the emerging world. Okay, Jeffrey?
Germany, which has the second lowest level of young unemployment in the rich world, pays a proportion of the weeks of the long-term unemployed for the first 2 years. The Nordic countries provide young people with personalized plans to get them into employment or training. But these policies are too expensive to reproduce in Southern Europe with their millions of unemployed, let alone the emerging world.
Yeah. So even though Germany, whoops, okay, I'm going to mute you again, Jeffrey. So even though Germany has good employment, so and they have different ways of dealing with that, like paying a part of the wages of the unemployed, and the Nordic countries in Norway, Finland, they actually help people. They do these personalized plans. So that means maybe they sit down with you and help you figure out what you're going to do and what skills you're going to need so that you can get a job. They're saying that those are great, but those countries are small and those countries are wealthy. And so perhaps these policies, the things that they're doing, are just too expensive to reproduce, to do them like they're doing them, to create them. Because in Southern Europe, that's like Spain and Italy and Portugal, millions of people are unemployed. And even more millions of people are unemployed in the emerging world, like they're talking about in India or Egypt or other countries like that. So a cheaper approach is to reform labor-hungry bits of the economy. For example, by making it easier for small businesses to get licenses or construction companies to get approval for projects or shops to stay open in the evening. The graduate glut. Across the OECD, people who left school at the earliest opportunity are twice as likely to be unemployed as university graduates. But it is unwise to conclude that governments should simply continue with the established policy of boosting the number of people who graduate from university. Okay, starting there at cheaper. Okay, John, you want to read? Alexander?
Okay. A cheaper approach is the reform labor-hungry bits of the economy, for example, by making it either for small business to get license or construction company to get approval for
Mm-hmm.
project or shop to stay open in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, the graduate ground
Glut.
ac- large.
Yep.
Across the OECD, people who left school at the earliest opportunity are twice as likely to be one project as university graduates, but it is one wish to conclude that government shall simply continue with the established policy of boosting the number of people who graduate from university.
Yeah. So one way to help reform, which means to change it for the better, is to help smaller businesses. A lot of times there's a lot of people in countries want to create a business, but it costs so much money for them to get a license or to pay taxes or something. It's hard for them to start a small business. So maybe you can make it easier for them and to get approval to get something like a project. And sometimes in some countries, the shops, they cannot stay open very late. So maybe that's another place where people could stay open later and then people can have jobs. That's an idea. Here, the graduate glut. When you have actually a lot of people in the world who have university degrees and they still can't find a job. So even though it's a good idea to have a university degree, it's not necessarily true that you will be guaranteed a job. They say it's unwise, that means it's not smart, to conclude or to think, to come up with the idea that governments should keep telling people to go to university. In both Britain and the United States, many people with expensive liberal arts degrees are finding it impossible to get decent jobs. In North Africa, university graduates are twice as likely to be unemployed as non-graduates. What matters is not just number of years of education people get, but its content. This means expanding the study of science and technology and closing the gap between the world of education and the world of work. For example, by upgrading vocational and technical education and by forging closer relations between companies and schools. Okay, Johnny?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, John. Yeah, Johnny, not John. Johnny.
When I begin?
Yeah, Johnny De Andrade. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Okay. In both Britain and the United States, many people with expensive liberal arts degrees and find it impossible to get the jobs. In North African university, graduates are twice as likely to be unemployed as now graduates. What matters is not just the numbers of years of education people get, but its content. This means explaining the study of science and anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go down, please, forward?
Technology. Right here.
Yes, I can't see. I can't see now. I'm sorry, teacher.
You can't see? Maybe it got the.
Yes.
There you go. Sometimes the connection slows down and then it's blurry.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is mine, but that's okay. Okay, this means explain the study of science and the technology and close the gap between the worlds of education and the worlds of work. For example, by unphrasing vocational and technical education, and by forging.
Forging.
Okay.
Yep. Closer relations. You see it between companies and schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close relations between companies and the schools.
Yeah. So what they're saying is that in Britain and the United States, a lot of people have gone to college and they got what we call liberal arts degrees. So that might mean like they studied history or literature or social studies or something like that, but it wasn't like science or math or something like that. So it's hard for them to get decent jobs, like a good job that will actually pay them to be able to like own a house and own a car and that kind of stuff. So they can't really, it's hard to find jobs using those skills that they have. So what they're saying is that what people have to do is they need to start studying more science, technology, and close the gaps. So that means get closer between education and work. So what businesses need, the education system needs to provide. So if people, for example, businesses need more people who know science and technology, then the educational system should be providing that. So vocational study for, and then also technical education like computers or learning how to work with mechanics or some kind of technological type of thing. And they need to forge closer. So forge just means to make relations between companies and schools. Germany's long-established system of vocational schooling and apprenticeships does just that. Other countries are following suit. South Korea has introduced Meister schools. Singapore has boosted technical colleges, and Britain is expanding apprenticeships and trying to improve technical education. Amparo?
Germany's long-established system of vocational schooling and apprenticeship does just that. Other countries are following suit. South Korea has introduced Meister's
Meister.
school. Singapore has boosted technical colleges, and Britain is expanding apprenticeships and trying to improve technical education.
Yes, great. So long established, that just means it's been around for a very long time. So in Germany, they have a tradition of people just studying philosophy or languages or literature or something like that, but actually some kind of vocation, maybe like carpentry or welding or construction, something that people actually can learn how to do a skill. And another way they do that is also through, so you learn with a master. So you work with people who are already experienced and you learn on the job while doing the stuff. And so these other countries are following suit. That's an English expression that means they're basically doing the same thing. They're following the lead of Germany. And this word Meister, that's a German word, and it just means master schools. And Singapore has boosted, that means made more. So when you boost something, you make it more. So now they have more technical colleges, and the same thing, this word expanding, the same thing. It means making more. So they're expanding their apprenticeship. So now more people can be apprentices and learn skills that way. So that's what's happening in some countries. Closing the gap will also require a change of attitude from business. Some companies, ranging from IBM and Rolls-Royce to McDonald's and Premier Inn, are revamping their training programs. But the fear that employees will be poached discourages firms from investing in the young? Okay, Diego.
Sí. Closing the gap will also require a change of attitude from business. Some companies, ranging from IBM and Rolls-Royce to McDonald's and Premier Inn, are revamping their training programs, but the fear that employees will be pushed discourage firms from the investing in the young.
Yeah, right. So basically what that means here is that ranging from, so that's just saying IBM to all these other types of businesses, they are revamping. That means they are recreating their training programs. And here again, this word is English. We would write but they have a fear. They're afraid, and what they're afraid of is that if they train you, so you go to Rolls-Royce or IBM or something, and they train you how to work, then what they're afraid of is after you get trained, somebody, another company maybe, is going to steal you away. They're going to you'll be poached. That means to steal. So if you leave the company that trained you, then they lose all their money that they invested in you. So that discourages companies or firms. Discourages means makes them not want to do it. They don't want to invest, put money in training young people because maybe it's not going to be good for them if you leave after they trained you. There are ways of getting around the problem. Groups of employers can cooperate with colleges to design training courses, for example. Technology is also reducing the cost of training. Programs designed around computer games can give youngsters some virtual experience, and online courses can help apprentices combine on-the-job training with academic instruction. Okay, Guido?
Okay, there are ways for getting around the problems. Groups employments can cooperate with colleges to design training courses. For example, technology is also reducing the cost of training programs. Designing our own computers games can give youngsters some virtual experience, and online courses can help apprentices combine the job training with academics instructions.
Yeah. So basically they're saying that instead of the company training you, companies can work with or cooperate with colleges. So they can design the training courses so that you're going to school and you're learning this stuff, like using computer games and things like that, or online courses. But the company's not training you, the school is training you. So you also get on-the-job training, and you also get some academic instruction. Academic means like reading and writing and things like that. So the problem of youth employment has been getting worse for several years, but there are at last some reasons for hope. Governments are trying to address the mismatch between education and the labor market. Companies are beginning to take more responsibility for investing in the young, and technology is helping democratize education and training. Okay, Jeffrey?
The problem of youth unemployment has been getting worse for several years, but there are at least some reasons for hope. Governments are trying to address the mismatch between education and labor market. Companies are beginning to take more responsibility for investing the young, and technology is helping democratize education and training.
Yeah. Okay. The world has a real chance of introducing an education and training revolution worthy of the scale of the problem. Okay, John, you want to read that last little bit there?
The world has real change of introducing on education and training revolution worthy
Mm-hmm.
of the scale
Scale. The scale.
of scale
Mm-hmm.
of the problem.
Yeah. So this last little sentence just says that, you know, if they can do this, that it's going to be like a revolution. If they can start combining an education with actual job training, then that's going to hopefully solve the problem. It says worthy of means it's like it's worthy of, it's let's see, how can I explain it to you? An education worthy of the scale. So it means that the problem, the scale, or the size is very big, and so doing this is a good idea. So doing more education and on-the-job training is a good idea to solve this big, huge problem that the world has. So we have about 8 minutes left, and now I would like to talk about the article a little bit because I'm interested to hear what your guys' experience is in terms of in your own country. What is the unemployment like? Are young people having a hard time finding jobs, or what's it like? Amparo, what's it like in your country right now
Um,
with
every
jobs?
It's very difficult now because most of the young people immediately after they finish their career, they got a master degree, so the competition is very high. Yeah, it is not enough to get a title from the university because now they are asking for a 4-level degree.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a little expensive. Sometimes you have to get the degree abroad because in technical career, for example, there is not too many options here. So the opportunity, just if you want to be inside the competition, you have to try to get.
Yeah. So Amparo, tell everybody what country you live in, so we know what.
Yeah, I live in Ecuador.
In Ecuador, okay.
Yeah.
So are people feeling mad or frustrated, or how are people feeling about this?
Because every day it's more hard it's harder to find a job with the salary that you ask for.
Right. That you want.
Salary that you want. It's very hard.
Yes,
for example,
a lot
for
of
technical careers, it's a little hard for women to get a job. Because sometimes the people think, women get married, women have to care the children. We still have those problems. Yes.
Yes, actually, some people, they argue that that's another thing that's a problem with the economy, or not the economy, but like getting jobs, is because a long time ago women didn't really get jobs in the market so much. You know, the men got the jobs, but now the women are also getting jobs. They don't want to just stay home and have babies. They want to work. They want to do things. So there's more people wanting jobs and finding jobs. So it's definitely a interesting time to be alive. So, Diego, what country are you from, Diego?
I'm from Colombia.
And what is the situation like in Colombia with unemployment and people finding jobs? Is it difficult?
Yes, it's very similar to Ecuador.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's very difficult to the people to get a work, uh, but the life is very good in my country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the government help people who don't have jobs?
Um, no, I don't think so. Uh, it, it's very difficult to get a work
Mm.
in this country. Yes,
Yeah.
and the salaries are very lower,
Low? Yeah, very
low,
low.
very
Mm-hmm.
low. Yes,
Yeah.
and the
Okay.
competition is too high.
Yes. Is it the same where a lot of people have gone to the university, so they're qualified, but there's so many people that it's still hard to get a job?
Yes, there are a lot of people with uh, with training and capacity and with
Abilities or
with
skills?
abilities with abilities. Okay, with abilities, and this is uh, the competition more difficult.
Yes. Okay. Guido, what country do you live in, Guido?
I'm from Colombia.
Okay. So pretty much the same as what Diego said. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I'm very agree. So, but here the problems I think is enterprises ask the people, ask young people,
Yeah.
and with experience. Yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but the people here think uh, the people young sometimes don't have experience,
Yeah.
and the old people have experience, but the enterprises don't want that because doesn't want that because it's old. So it's the big problem.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Same. That's the same here. Jeffrey, how about where you live? What's it like for people trying to find jobs? Jeffrey, where do you live?
I live in Indonesia,
Indonesia. Okay. Is it?
and I think
Go ahead.
yeah, and I think my country has the same problem with another country.
Yeah.
It's hard for a young people to find a job.
Yeah.
The problem is not only from education. I mean, even though someone has a master degree certificate or a title, it's still hard for she or he to find a job.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. John Alexander, where do you live, John?
I am from Colombia.
Okay. 3 Colombians.
Yes. I am living in Cali, Colombia.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I am work in the Fiscalia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, uh, I am assistente,
Okay.
assistant,
An assistant? Uh-huh.
assistant, the
Yeah.
the, the, the fiscal.
Yeah. For a fiscal assistant. Yeah. Okay. So you have a job.
What?
So that is your job, or are you an intern? You're an
Mm,
assistant. That's your job. Yeah.
that is my job.
Yes. Your assistant.
It's
An
my job.
assistant. Yes.
It's correct.
Yeah.
I start worried
Mm-hmm.
at the at 8 o'clock
Yes.
from 8 at 5 p.m.
Wow, that's long. 8 to
Uh,
5. Yeah.
8 hours
Yeah.
or 8 hour.
Yeah. 8 hours.
Mm, uh, all day, every day.
Wow. That's a lot of working. Yeah.
Every day, uh, week and weekend.
Wow. That's too much. Too much work. Okay, you guys, we ran out of time. We read a good article. It sounds like a situation that is happening all around the world. So we'll see if we can solve this global economic situation that we're having, and so people can find jobs and live good lives. So hopefully that will happen sooner than later. Okay, guys, we're done for this hour. Thanks for coming to the class. Some of you guys showed up at the very
Thanks for the
end.
class, teacher. Interesting.
Yes, thank you,
Subject.
Amparo, for participating. Thank you for all
Thanks
the
to
people who
you for the
came.
opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming, you guys. And for those of you who showed up a little bit late, next time come a little bit earlier so you can talk with us and read. Yeah, it's the best if you can come earlier in the class so you can participate the whole time. Okay. But thank you guys for
Thanks.
coming.
Bye. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Night.
See you later.
Well, that I just put something in. That's weird. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong thing. I put into a vocabulary word that was from the last one. There you go. That's the right link right there. You click on that one, and that takes you to the article that we're going to be reading. It's called Generation Jobless. That's the name of the article, and it's going to be talking about what's going on around the world with young people who are trying to find jobs and get work. So if you are watching out there and you would like to practice your English reading skills and also learn about what's happening around the world with jobs for younger people, then this would be a good class for you. So just click on the green Join Class button. It should be available by now, and you can come into the Google Hangout. And we'll just wait. Hi there, Amparo. How are you?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's great. Amparo, was the green Join Class button available, or did you get a reservation?
No. I didn't have no reservation. I just joined.
Okay, good. I was just wondering because I see that people are looking at the document, but they're not joining yet. So I don't want to wait too much time because we can read ourselves if we get started. Okay, so if you want to join, now's a good time because we're going to start reading. So click on the Join Class button, and then you will come into the Google Hangout, and then we're going to start reading. I'm going to put the article in the screen share. So Amparo, did you find the link? You're already there?
Yeah.
Amparo? Okay,
Yeah.
good. You're there?
Yeah.
And Jeffrey, you're there already too?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to read. We're only 2 people in this class right now, so you guys are going to get to read a lot. So that's good.
A private class.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? All right.
Sure.
All right. So it's called Generation Jobless. The number of young people out of work globally is nearly as big as the population of the United States. Okay, so that's basically what the article is about. And so here I'm going to read the first paragraph, and then there were quite a few phrasal verbs and some expressions that may have been new for some students, and also some good vocabulary. It's vocabulary that you may use if you're speaking at a little bit higher level about technology. That was from the last class. And also it's great vocabulary if you are studying for tests, like Pedro is studying for the TOEFL test or any of the other English proficiency exams. A lot of times the best thing you can do for those is to read a lot, because you get a wider vocabulary. Conversational English doesn't use such high-level vocabulary words usually. So reading widely, lots of different articles and books and things will help you expand your vocabulary. So hi there, welcome. Hi there, Japri. Hi there, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. It's a
I'm
little...
fine, and how are you doing?
Good. That's
Yes,
great.
I can hear.
Okay, awesome. So we're just going to wait for some people to come in. Did you click on the link already? It's in the Verbling chat. I'll put it there again.
Yes,
Okay, great.
I already.
Okay, good. Yes, I see that there are some people that are opening up the... Hi, everybody. This is Lisa, and it's time for another reading class. So in this hour, we're going to be reading another article, and I put the link up here already in the Verbling chat. So if you would like to, you can click on the link, and it will open up a Google document for you, and you can start checking it out. If you have a reservation for this class, you can get it now by clicking on the blue Get Reservation button. If you don't have a reservation and you want to have one, and you are a premium member, then go ahead and get your reservation. Otherwise, you can wait until the green Join Class button appears, and then you can click on the green Join Class button, and then you will come into here, which is the Google Hangout. When that window opens, then you can just close your Verbling window, and you will be in the class, and that way you can read out loud. Usually on the article I read, so you get to listen to me and how I pronounce the words, and then you get a chance to read as well. So you get to read out loud and also ask questions and learn some new vocabulary. In the last two articles that we were reading, you guys will just take turns, and if anybody else joins us, then they can start reading as well. Young people ought not to be idle. It is very bad for them, said Margaret Thatcher in 1984. She was right. There are few worse things that society can do to its young than to leave them in limbo. Okay, Amparo, why don't you go first?
Okay. Young people ought not to be idle. It is very bad for them, said Margaret Thatcher in 1984. She was right. There are few worse things that society can do its young than to leave them in limbo.
In limbo, yeah. When you leave somebody in limbo, or if you feel like you are in, it means you don't know what's happening. You're not sure if you're going to do this or do that. Those who start their careers on the dole are more likely to have... Jeffrey, do you have your Verbling window open?
Yes.
Yeah, close the Verbling window because it's too noisy. It's recording.
Yeah. I have closed the Verbling.
You closed it? Okay. All right. Amparo, do you have your Verbling window open? Amparo?
No, I mute. No.
Okay.
I was mute.
Okay, good. All right. So those who start their careers on the dole are more likely to have lower wages and more spells of job